All right. So before we start anything, I'll do a prayer since I'm in the house of God. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for giving us the opportunity to get here safely, but allowing me the opportunity to speak to your people about business. Thank you, Lord, that you've trusted me with that, as well as given me the position to be someone that's trustworthy. I pray that the notes that I've taken will be something that someone will find educational. And I pray, Lord, that I'm just up here doing what I'm supposed to do. Amen. So, welcome. I'm going to be talking about taking a side hustle or hobby and turning it into a legit business. I recognize that there are people who have hobbies and they're making money from it. And I also understand that there are people who want to go into legit business from their hobbies that turn into a side hustle. So that's why I'm here today. I have conversations with people often and they don't know where to go next because they didn't think about turning it to a legit business. I was in the same boat. My wife bought me a camera. It's warm in here. My wife bought me a camera and I wasn't thinking about photography. I started doing photography. That led me into having a clothing line. Clothing line turned to me being a printer to help supply other people that want to get into the business of having a streetwear brand. So let's start with, is it a hobby or is it a hustle? So I mentioned my wife bought me a camera. She spent whatever she spent. It was an entry-level Canon camera. I believe it was a T5. Started with just taking pictures for myself as a hobby, and because I had a professional looking camera, people wanted to give me money to do work because they thought that I was good. I didn't know the first thing about photography at all. I still, as of this moment, don't really know much about photography. I just know I could take a decent picture. So first person that contacted me was like, hey, I'll give you $50 if you just take this picture of my niece. Okay, I'll take $50. I would have done it for free. Next person, hey, I'll give you $50 to take a picture. And I start thinking about like, well, it's a hobby of mine. Maybe I can start charging people for it. And went from there of charging $50 for something I was doing for fun and had to start thinking, okay, well, if I'm gonna keep bringing in the money, what should be my next step? So I got an LLC, but not for photography. Main reason being is I still see photography as a hobby. And the reason I see it as a hobby is I don't have the clientele for it to really make it a business. And the reason I say that is you really should not consider getting an LLC until you have the clientele and you have the finances coming in. The reason for that is if you're doing it as a hobby, you're pretty much a sole proprietor. If you are offering your services and something happens, it's okay. If it's just one client. Now, if you've gotten to the point that you've got constant contacts and contracts and constant clientele coming in, you're getting a whole bunch of new faces and a whole bunch of new money. At that point, you want to start thinking about your liability, because if you've got a client who's unhappy with your work, legal actions can be taken. So you want to start considering LLCs at the point that you realize that you're not just doing your hobby for fun or for just your mom and pops and cousins and your friend that's down the street that wants your hobby. So where was I at? Okay. Most people don't know when to actually turn their hobby into a side hustle, turn it from a side hustle to a business. And the reason I separate it that way is, as a hobby, you can do it for fun, not get a dollar, and be perfectly okay with not making any money. It's not a side hustle until you can actually charge someone for services. So the moment that you're doing it and you're just doing it for fun, like you can be crocheting, you can be braiding hair, any of that, it's just a hobby. The moment that you decide, I want to charge someone for my service, now it's a side hustle. And most people want to get side money, the money that's under the table that Uncle Sam doesn't know about. That's a fine place to start at. That's really the only way I can describe the difference between it being hobby and side hustle. And anything can be a side hustle. And this is where we discuss the difference between going from side hustle to legit business. Because, like I said, I do photography, I do screen printing, I have a clothing line. The clothing line and the screen printing is a legit business. The reason I have not done that with the photography, as I said, it's still a hobby. I'm not getting charged for it. But also, I don't know personally if I would want to make that a business. I do feel that I would like to make the other stuff a business, so I went that route. So when you've got a side hustle or a hobby that you're getting some type of money, you want to start thinking whether or not you want that long term to be what you want to make money off of, or if it's just going to be for fun. Photography, I could put the camera down for 365 days and be perfectly fine not making another dollar from it because I have fun doing it. Screen printing, however, if I go 2 weeks without making a dollar, I'm going to lose my hair. So, any questions at this point of hobby, side hustle, legit business? Go ahead.
I got a question, because like side hustles, like I consider like what I do with video editing, it's a hobby. I do it to help the wifey out, but I'm not really, I got one other customer I make videos for, but it's like every now and then it's not consistent enough where I'm making my salary doing it. I might make $1,000 here and there, but I was wondering like what dollar amount do you need to get to turn your side hustle into a business? So say if I don't know, if I'm starting to make $10,000, I don't know, every a year or something, should I turn into a business at that point, or get an LLC, or should I be making it equivalent to what my actual salary is?
As far as your salary, and that's a good question. As far as your salary that you're making from your side hustle or hobby, if you want to turn it into a business, that's going to be a decision of yours. Not so much on the money that you make, because I can go do a wedding right now and make $5,000 for a wedding. You want to make that decision based on your clientele if you want to go limited liability. Because if you made $10,000 off of one project and the project was cool, if that's what you're making, I would consider it, solely because if the project doesn't go good and you and the client can't come to an agreement of what is considered good based on what they've paid, then you can end up with some legal action. And with legal action, if you were not listed as an LLC, you're just a sole proprietor, the moment that legal action is taken, if you can't afford what they're suing you for, so let's say the project was $10,000, but they want to sue you for $20,000 in damages, and you only have their $10,000 and maybe $2,000 saved up, you're now dealing with losing that lawsuit. You're losing that $10,000, the $2,000 that you have, and then now they're coming for your personal possession. So if your car is now worth $8,000, your car is now gone legally because you're not an LLC. Now, if it's the business, they can only get the business for what the business is worth versus your personal. So just take in consideration your clientele and your finances. I wouldn't say that there's an amount, because if you make $5, if you're afraid that you're only worth $5, then get an LLC so you don't lose the $5 that you're worth. Okay. You got a question?
Have you ever thought of combining the photography business and screen printing?
I do.
You do?
I do. So, because I have a clothing line, and the camera's not gonna see me, so we'll do this. Take one, pass it down. So because I have a clothing line and I have to do things with social media, I have no other choice but to use a camera for what I do. So what's being passed around is a brochure. It shows my photography work because I had to take pictures of models wearing my product. So yeah, I have no other choice but to, especially the way that marketing is set up today. Otherwise, I would be forking out a lot of money for the same stuff that I have the ability to do myself.
Okay, and then my second question, LLC. Isn't that insurance? Does the insurance come with the LLC, or do you have to buy it separately?
You're gonna have to get insurance separately. An LLC is just saying I'm a legitimate business that has some type of capabilities to be a business.
And the LLC protects your personal possessions, that you were saying.
Yep, because it's the LLC is for the business. So, yep, if I'm coming for your business for something that you did, then I can only come for the business. I can't personally come for you because you have an LLC. You're protected. So that is one of the main reasons that I did decide to go to a legit business. Is I started getting so much clientele not from the t-shirt side, because I highly doubt that someone's going to come for a lawsuit for $45,000 because they didn't like the design of my t-shirt, or I get a cease and desist, which most of my designs I make myself, so I don't have to worry about a cease and desist. But once I started screen printing and taking contracts for people's orders who now make money off of me, an LLC protects me if A, I don't get a project done in a certain amount of time, or B, if I get the project done and the project is not adequate, being that the ink is washing off, or I've burned a couple of their shirts or anything like that. That's the LLC protecting me. That was my main reason for it, because I didn't want to give somebody my car because I messed up your project.
Or your house.
No, they're not gonna get the house. They get the car first. I'm not making that big of a damage. Another reason that I decided that I was going to go from side hustle to business, I had to get the LLC, but me getting the LLC, I had to get certain license as well. Being that I'm selling a product, there are certain events that I cannot do unless I have paperwork and vendor's license that show that I can actually sell product. Being that I have a clothing line, there's only so much that I can do myself. I can stand outside on the corner with my t-shirts. I can post online that I have t-shirts, but then there are trade shows that are specially set up for people like me who have clothing lines, and I can meet more people. So I had no other choice but to get it solely so that I could be at those events and meet brand new clientele. What other reason did I do it? Oh, tax breaks. So that's another reason why you would want to go from side hustle, not hobby, side hustle, to going to a legit business. The moment that you are a legit business, an LLC, or any of the other legit terms, we'll just stay with LLC because that's the most common one that people will get, and it's the one that makes the most sense. Where was I at? Tax. So most of the things that I buy come with taxes. I buy blank t-shirts for a client, I have to pay taxes on it. If I buy equipment so that I can print, there would be taxes. Buy ink, anything that I pay, I would have to pay taxes on. The moment that I became a legit business and got licensed and became tax-free, they started taking away the taxes, which would save me a lot of money, especially on equipment. When equipment is roughly $4,000, $5,000, before taxes, you get to save that $600-$700 that taxes would hit you with. So tax breaks. And then also around tax time, everything is a write-off. If you decide that you want to buy t-shirts, well, in my case, if I decide I want to buy t-shirts and I want to give them out for free, I put that on my outgoing, and it's a tax cutoff. It's a tax write-off. So that's another reason why you would want to consider going from a side hustle to a legit business. Did you raise your hand? Did you have a question? No? Oh, okay. So here's some scripture that will help you with this. And the scriptures specifically are more so for the people who are wanting to have a legit business, not the people who are hobbyists, but the people who are either at the point of trying to figure out if they're going to be in a legit business or if they are already a legit business. And I'll start with Matthew 7:7, and it is so warm up here. Ask and it'll be given to you. Seek and you'll find. Knock and the door will be open. So if you want to have a business, ask God for it. Look for it. Knock on the door, he'll open the door for you. Then we've got Joshua 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And I needed that because the first few months of me having a clothing line, it took a lot of courage, a lot of courage because it's kind of scary, especially being a clothing line that is faith-based. And I'm involved with streetwear where most brands have nothing to do with faith. Most of them may actually even have satanic messages in their artwork intentionally because a lot of people buy into what negative or intentionally obscene stuff, or it might be a brand with naked women. So I'm competing against those people. So I mentioned earlier, I'll go to trade show events or whatever. I'll go to those events, with me being the only faith-based brand. It gets so scary for me because I feel like I'm gonna leave this event and I'm not gonna make any money. When you've got one brand that is mimicking what Kanye West's brand looks like, or you've got another brand that looks like what everybody else is buying, and I have to stay true to myself and everything that brings up, that stands on my character, it makes it, you have to be courageous. And also, I'm not the best at selling myself. So when I'm at these events, and that's part reason why I have these brochures, because I will occasionally get nervous. Somebody will walk up on me, will explain your brand, and I'll start talking about my brand. And I can feel myself like, you're about to start losing them. You're gonna start losing them. And I hand them a brochure like, you know what? Here you go. This will explain my brand and everything that I stand for and what the brand stands for and our mission, our vision, and everything else that we're going through. So that's God being with me, because I'll go into these events and I'll have the worst placement in the event. So let's say that this is the event hall, and right where the keyboard is the front door where everybody's coming in, and all of the brands that are on the flyer, they're all where that green wall is. I am inside that utility closet, literally. I'm not joking. Every time I've done an event, I'm in the back room all by myself. So I see my placement, I see all of my competition that's there, and you pay about $50, $60, $75 for your setup, at least one of the events. Some events it's $150 for just your table. And a lot of these times I'll go into these events like, if I just make my table back, that'll be good, because I don't believe that with my competition that's here that I'll get noticed. And I'm also in the utility closet of this event. And generally whoever's at working the table with me will say a quick prayer, and I'll get eased a little bit. And most times God makes a way. So the last event that I did, the pictures that you're seeing on the front of the flyer, that was for the anniversary of my brand. And this is my 6th year of the brand. So I chose earth tone colors because 6 is the number of man, and man came from the earth, so on and so forth. So I had a theme with my drop for that particular color, or for that particular season. And I did the event, and I was talking to my homeboy, and I said, honestly, if I made $200 today, that would be a good day, because I see where I'm placed. I seen all the people whose names were on the flyer. My name wasn't on the flyer, and $200 is a good day. End of the event, I almost sold out of everything that I had, and I knew that was nothing but God being with me, because I wasn't supposed to, based on who my competition was, I wasn't supposed to sell. I ended up leaving making near $2,000, which is a great day in streetwear fashion when you're not the big brands. If you're not like Supreme or whatever, that's a good day. So yeah, so that was me tying in my scripture there. And then lastly, and I'm not gonna read all of this, but Matthew 25:14 through 30 is the parable of the talents. I started again as a hobby. So that was me developing a talent of mine that turned into streetwear. That was also me growing my talent for fashion, and so on and so forth with design as well. And if I did not use that talent, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do on this earth, using my talent to expand. And before I get into some more stuff, we got any more questions? Any?
When you say you go into
No, and it's number one, I have conviction. And number two, out of all of the brands that I end up competing with, I'm the only one that has something that it stands for. Like you'll have a brand that has literally modeled itself after Yeezy's brand. So you'll have somebody go buy the shirt just because of how it looks. And then you'll have someone that buys into my brand and they'll possibly come back because they stand with what my brand stands for. So no, I'll never conform to what is cool because it's gonna make a sale. I would rather not change who I am just for the dollar. And I've had people, I mean, my brand started off, it was going to be that. It was gonna be, well, kind of like that. It was based on my love for sneakers and I was gonna make t-shirts that match sneakers that drop. Well, there's a million brands that do that. And that's kind of corny in my age to try to overmatch, at least in the fashion world now. Like, we don't wanna overmatch because it looks weird. So when I fell back from that, I had a whole different perspective on looking into fashion, because at that point I really wasn't into fashion, I was just more into matching. Which, to answer your question, no, I would not, just solely based on who I am. I might try some things, but I'm never going to go to the point of trying to fit in, because I stand out by not fitting in. Y'all fight for who goes first, because y'all both had your hand at the same time.
So you said that it takes a lot of courage, and you know God is with you at these events because you know everybody else will be front and center, but they'll stuff you in a closet somewhere. With that being said, and you know that you have to work 10 times harder than the next brand to even be noticed, what types of marketing or branding have you implemented in order to be seen or in order for people to pay your brand attention as opposed to going with, you know, what is popular?
Well, as far as marketing at those type of events, brochures have really been the thing that stands out the most. Nobody else thinks about having brochures. Bags, the thank you bags, when you go to events, and I've never understood this, that people will sell their t-shirt, they'll sell hoodies, they'll sell sweatsuits, they'll sell whatever item that they sell, and they don't have a bag that has their logo on. They don't even have bags. They'll grab something, they'll walk away, and now the person that's walking around this event is walking around and hoping they can find someone that will allow them to have a bag. So then they come to my table, oh wait, you've got bags? Yes, I printed my bags too. Oh wait, you print? So the brochure separates me because most people, if this happens to be the thing too, because a lot of my stuff does not blend in with everybody else's and it stands out, sometimes a lot of it is bland. I'm very, like if you look at the stuff that's on the flyer, I'm very simplistic with my design work. I might get overlooked immediately just because it's not fancy, it doesn't have a lot of stuff on it. So the brochures help because now you have an understanding of why the brand is simplistic. You now have an understanding of why this color palette was chosen. So those help with marketing at those type of events, having paper bags, and then also not trying to look cool. Like, you would have to come with me to one of these events one day, but a lot of these kids, like they will go spend $3,000 on some Balenciaga shoes that look like Skechers. They'll go buy some of the most terrible looking clothes, but it's trendy. Like their hoodie would be like a $7,000 hoodie from Palm Angels that's oversized, and then they'll have one, it look like they put on their boyfriend's clothes. Basically, is the best way I can explain it. Like when you go in my closet and you throw something on, and it's just way too big on you. That's the way a lot of these dudes dress, and it's just to go around and say, "Yeah, bro, I spent $15,000 on my outfit." And actually, this ties into what Shara sent me and her had a conversation earlier today. So I'm like at entry level when it comes to my brand also. That's another thing that I market at these events. You come to these events and it's a guy who's just like me starting up and he wants to sell his t-shirt for $100 because he buys Yeezy clothes. And that works for him based on him already dressing like Yeezy, and the people he's around or has at his table are also those same kids that are gonna wear the Balenciagas. You come to my table, I'm the 30-year-old guy with the gray beard, blue jeans on, because kids don't wear blue jeans for real unless it's fall time. I'm wearing blue jeans. and I'm selling a shirt that someone likes, and they're like, wait, you only want $25, $30 for your shirt? Yeah. Oh, well, here you go. So my marketing is being myself, having brochures, and just trying to be as professional as I can at an event where I need these people to come back eventually, either to my table or to my website. Did I answer your question before I go to Lanice? Okay. You.
Yes, one part of my question, so to piggyback on hers, you want to stay in the Christian faith base with your business? Have you reached out to other churches? Because I've noticed that around here, you do t-shirts for the different ministries within the church. Have you reached out to any of the other churches to see if they're interested in purchasing t-shirts for their ministry?
For screen printing, no, I have not reached out to anyone in regards to anything screen printing wise. Main reason being is what I do for the church is not what I would do for someone else's church. Sister Chelly asked me to print X amount of shirts, which is kind of below my minimums. And I don't, at this point, if someone comes to me by referral, then I will talk to them, but I'm not reaching out to churches intentionally like, hey, I'm a screen printer that's a Christian. And that's the thing, I don't want to sell myself as that, because then it becomes a gimmick. You know, if you're a Christian rapper, you're a Christian book writer, you're a Christian screen printer, it becomes a gimmick. Oh, well, now I'm going to deal with you because you're a Christian. I would rather it be organic, that if a church comes to me for shirts, it's because of referral that someone said, this guy does good work, so you should use him.
Did you do the love shirt?
The what?
The shirts with this love on the back?
Yeah, the red ones,
No, they're black and white.
They say love.
they from faith and it says different.
I know mine has love on it.
Yeah,
but
but
I
you
wear
did,
that every
well,
time
some
I
have
wear.
faith.
No, my mom did
Every time I wear
those.
that shirt, somebody in the grocery store will stop me and say, where did you buy that shirt?
Yeah.
I said, I got it at church, I don't know where they got it.
Yeah, my,
I know your business was this big, I'm sorry.
no, you're good. My mom does vinyl heat press, and I do screen printing, so she can do more custom stuff. So like when she used to do the shirts for the church, like everybody had a different something on the back, like the what was it, Joshua's Army? What was it called? You were in it. The thing where, girl, it was you, Brad, Cher, y'all took that class. You paid $100, $150. What was it? You were just in it. Wow. And you were in it too. That's what's even worse. The both of y'all.
What color were they?
I can't remember, but Brad was in it. You were in it. It was a leadership class.
Oh, I wasn't in it, but it was the Lead Academy.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, well, either way, those shirts my mother made. And you have more options to be custom with that. When I'm doing screen printing, I have one screen that has one color, that has one image. So I can literally only do what is on that screen. And if I have to make more screens, then I have to charge more money per screen. My mom, she can literally make one shirt and be done with it. If I make a screen, my minimums are gonna be 12 or more for a single color. If you want two colors, my minimum now jumps to a certain, like 20. And so answering your second question, no, I did not do those shirts. Your first question, if a church contacts me, I'm not going to turn them down, because who am I to say no to money? But I'm not going to reach out and say, hey, I am a Christian screen printer. Let me print for your church. You got a question?
I had a question about, you said earlier, when you turn into an LLC, you got tax breaks where you don't have to pay taxes on your materials.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought only 501(c)(3)s or nonprofit organizations like churches and stuff didn't have to pay taxes. So
Nope. The moment you do that, you actually become tax exempt. I wish I could use it when I go buy sneakers and other stuff too, but they're not business expenses. But literally anything that's a business expense, they cut the taxes off. But the other side is you have to pay taxes yourself.
gotcha.
So twice a year. So in January in June and in December, I have to file my taxes and pay them myself.
Right.
But it's based on income, not based on what I spent money on.
Gotcha.
So I can spend $20,000 on equipment, but if I don't make $1, I don't have to pay taxes. I make $200, I got to pay taxes on my $200.
Gotcha.
How come you
Huh?
I mean, could you, but it's illegal.
No, it's not illegal. So because, for instance, I have a clothing line that's fashion related. I could technically buy a pair of shoes for a business expense for a photo shoot, technically. But because I'm righteous, I can't do that. Yeah. Any other questions? You got one.
You going to that sneaker event?
No. No.
You don't do that?
No. I'm a grown man. I don't go to sneaker events. That's for the kids. If I go to
They sell everything like clothing too.
Sneaker freaks is terrible. That's for kids.
Oh, I thought they were selling some clothes too.
Yeah, they will, but honestly,
It's mostly sneakers. Is what you're saying.
it's for kids. It's for people Justin's age. If I'm gonna go to a sneaker event, I'm going to SneakerCon because it's a 2-day event and it's actually sponsored by and produced by people who actually have a love for sneakers. The people who are involved with Sneaker Freaks,
Is that what it is?
yeah, Sneaker Freak. It's corny. The people that were involved when it first started, it were people I grew up with, and they got in business with other people, and they started clashing on which way the business should go. And where it is now is the people who own it now, because my homeboys split and sold their part of the business, their thinking is, let's just get a bunch of people to come in here and buy tickets because the cool thing is sneakers right now. Versus my homeboys were trying to expand it and do something bigger. Sneaker Freaks is corny. I will not show up.
So do you ever have a sneaker con in Columbus?
No, SneakerCon is never going to be here because Columbus honestly is not really a sneaker town. So we'll get it in Cleveland as the closest, but Columbus, no.
Now, do you have a team or do you run solo basically for your arrogant brand?
For the clothing line, I have set up a makeshift team. It's really more so people who can help with keeping me in line with things. I've added some people who are involved with streetwear, some of them that are heavy involved with fashion. So I'm not just leading to what I think is cool, print it up, and then it's actually garbage. So I'll design something, I'll send it to my team. Hey, what do you guys think about this? Nah, that's whack. And I have very honest people like, nah, that's whack. You don't want to put your name on it. And then also I have them for when I do these events. One of the things that I try to do with these events, I try to shake hands and meet the other brands that are there, tell them I'm over here, so on and so forth. Or if I'm doing anything aside from being at my table, I need someone to watch my table. So I have someone that's on my team that when I do events, they'll come with me just so that they can help because they see the vision of the brand and they want it to grow. And their thinking is, however I can help, I'll help. Yeah. So some of the challenges that I have run into with having a small business is it has been finding the clientele. Lanice just asked the question about have I went inside of a church and spoke to someone and said, hey, I print. And the bigger problem that I've been running into is that I'm a 34-year-old father and husband that works a regular job as well as have a legit business. I don't have the time to go shake people's hands all of the time because I'm either on the clock, I'm either being a husband, I'm being a dad, and I have to force myself. So when I'm not on the clock, my night shift starts, which is where I'm investing my time into my business. It is so hard in today's climate when we just came off of coronavirus where everybody's scared to go shake hands now. But outside of that, everybody that is my age and younger, they're using social media more than anything. So me going to an event, I went to an event with one of my homeboys who's part of the team. And it was because I don't go out anywhere. He's like, bro, you need to come out. I was like, I don't really want to. He's like, nah, you need to come out because you have businesses. So I'm telling you to come out, so come out. So I went out with him and I felt weird being there because it was more of a kickback environment. And he's having a conversation with a few of the people that he knows. And he's pretty much preaching the gospel of arrogant for me because I don't know these people and I really did not want to be there. But what ended up happening is those younger people, they were interested just based on him preaching the gospel of arrogant. And it was, Oh, bro, what's your social media? You got a QR code? No, I got some product in the back if you want to just come to the car real quick, but it's difficult for me to find clientele because I'm not outside at my age. I'm not one of the cool kids anymore. I don't use social media as much as I should to bring business. I'll use social media, I'll scroll, look at something, I laugh, I like something, I may make a comment about something, but I rarely am on there about business. That's not anything more than I just don't really want to be on social media to talk about business. And I kick myself in the butt every single day not using my social media for my business on a regular basis. And I even have Instagram and Facebook pages set up for my other businesses, for my screen printing, my photography, for the brand. I've got them set up. I just don't utilize them. And in this climate, if you are not actively using your social media, you can end up killing yourself. You've got a question. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You said you have the pages already set up. I have no idea. I've never used social media. The only thing I do is emails and texts. If you want to show me how to do social media, I have plenty of time to do your stuff on your social media for you. Because to me, that would be the best thing. And I would not charge you for the first year.
You would have to learn a lot.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Somebody would have to teach me social media because I have none.
Yeah, see, I have a friend that Steve has actually been using to run his social media, and he's paying her, but it is so much because you have to know right times when to post. You've got to know certain hashtags. You got to know what to tag, and it ends up being a big ordeal with learning social media to have it grow. Then you have to know about how to become viral if you really want to grow a following, like doing, and that's one of the things where I would have to be more in tune with actually using it. Because, for instance, I screen print. I would have to literally record a video and then give you my phone after I've edited the video and say, here, you post this. Versus if I have photos I can give you and say, here, just post this photo. It's like this. It's not as small as this with running social media. It's like this. And it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger to the point to where if you don't have all social media platforms, it's tough. I don't like TikTok. I'm not a person that wants to record myself talking. I'm not a person that wants to record myself doing stuff. It's weird to me. But you have a better chance of growing your business right now on TikTok because it is the only thing that has a working algorithm because Facebook has not bought them yet. So when you post something, it is organic and people will see it organically because of so. Instagram, unfortunately, has changed that because Instagram found out people were making money off of them. And it was like, nah, let's mix this up so we can stop making y'all get money and we want y'all's money. And because Instagram is owned by Facebook, Facebook follows suit. And now Twitter is doing the same thing. We'll get you some classes. We'll get you some classes, but you will be thrown for a loop the moment that you figure out the first day. You're like, yeah. It is a whole lot trying to run social media.
Well, what about getting a QR code?
I've got a QR code. It's inside the pamphlet. But I didn't know the importance of that because I don't talk to techie people. I'm not talking to people on social media. And you'll need one. So that QR code, if you scan it with your phone, it's going to take you to my website. It's going to take you to my Facebook. It'll take you to my Instagram. Yep, all on that QR code. So you want that solely for that one reason alone. Because if I'm out in public and I say, follow, or I'm telling you about my business, right? And you're like, all right, well, what is all your information? Some people might just stop at website. Some people actually want to know your Instagram so they can follow you and want to go to your website. Some people want to know if you've got a Facebook. I can just have you, and I keep the QR code on my phone as well because I don't have a pamphlet everywhere that I go.
I didn't know you could put multiple links in one QR code.
Yep.
Got me something.
Yep. Very important. But yeah, finding clientele, especially in the industries that I'm in, When you go to the screen printing route, there's 1,000,001 screen printers already in the city that are established. When you go the clothing line route, there are people who are involved with fashion that they are either involved with certain brands specifically, so they don't really want to buy into other new brands, or it's not cool to them yet because they haven't seen somebody else doing it and they don't want to be the person to make something cool. So finding clientele has been the toughest thing that I've been involved with having my stuff. Now, I feel that my stuff is quality. Other people tell me my stuff is quality. It's not quality. It's just meeting the right person, shaking the right hand, and getting them to invest into my businesses. The other thing, and I briefly touched on it, being a 34-year-old non-cool kid, husband and father, I don't find the availability in the beginning stages or in this current moment to really grow the brand that I need. I put in, at the beginning stages, I was probably putting in 12 hours a day into trying to grow the business.
How long have you been, when did it?
6 years for 6 years for Arrogant, the clothing side, and it's only been a year on the print side. I've only been printing since last year. But finding the time, it's tough because I don't want to take away from my daughter. I don't want to take away from my wife, but then I take away from my brand. And then when I don't put it into my brand kind of gets forgotten. That's both the clothing line and the screen printing. I had to sigh at that because I never thought that it would be that tough to find time before becoming a family man. Yeah, the moment that you decide that you're going to have a business, make sure that you're making the time, because your business will not grow if you don't make the time. There's no way, it's not going to sell itself. I don't care what your product is. You can have the absolute best product. It's not going to sell itself. Even drugs in the 80s didn't sell itself. Somebody had to take the drug and they had to say, oh, this was good, and bring their friends and bring their friends. So, you got a question about crack? Is that why you raised your hand?
I'm not just going for that. I had a question about, like, so I know you mentioned a couple of times that you're a 30-year-old, 40-year-old man or whatever, and you're not cool kids anymore, and you're trying to get the clientele. Have you ever thought about finding maybe not a spokesperson, but like somebody that can rep your brand that's big in the Christian community? I don't know if it's going to be like an artist.
I've tried.
A pastor, maybe a younger pastor.
I wouldn't do a
or something.
pastor.
Okay.
But I have tried. I've tried in the battle rap scene. There are a few big name battle rappers, because I'm also involved with battle rap heavy. And we've had conversations. I've sent them product, and unfortunately, they've never worn the product. I've tried with battle rappers who are not the Christian battle rappers, and they have worn the product, and it's been annoying. It's like, I don't really want these guys representing my brand because they're not as good as you. I would rather you do it because people will pay you attention, and you dress better than them. But it's the one thing that I've been telling myself that I will do better with is creating a care package. When we have Christian artists that come to the city, I see people do this with their brands, and sometimes it helps their brands. Sometimes it does not. Sometimes all it is just an artist wearing your brand and big whoop. Sometimes them wearing it can actually blow you, but pause. Things have changed in the way that fashion is today because we now have fast fashion. So let's say, for instance, a couple of weeks ago, Kurt Franklin was here. Let's say I actually had a care package available, and I give him the shirt and whatever else I put in this care package, and he wears it when he's on concert. People get pictures. Sometimes that can be nobody cares because they're looking at Kurt. Other times, and it hasn't been this for a while for brands, it turns into, wow, your brand is blowing up now because we see Kurt Franklin wearing it. But now people have caught on to that, and they know that, oh, Kurt's wearing it because you handed him a shirt. Now, like 10 years ago, there's this brand called Rude that actually done that. They gave Kendrick Lamar a shirt, a bandana printed shirt that they made themselves, and Kendrick wore it on a show, and people started searching, where did Kendrick get this shirt? Because it was so unique. And that brand ended up having to mass produce it based on Kendrick wearing it. Now, Kendrick is wearing everybody's stuff, and it's not doing the same effect because it's like, oh, somebody gave Kendrick that. We don't care. Social media.
You know there's a big gospel concert coming this month,
No, I don't.
It's a gospel that's coming down to the Economic Theater on the 20th of this month.
I know nothing about it.
But it's a whole variety of
But
So
the,
in your bags, do you put together something?
I don't have a bag.
No, you said you print bags. You print bags for people to carry around, but do you print some for yourself? To put your brochure?
That's what I'm.
Maybe something?
That's the same bag. Yeah, it's a bag that says "Thank you for shopping with me" that has my logo on it. Yep. But before we go to your next question, so what I've added some younger hip people to the team, and I have them as brand ambassadors because they're outside, they're seeing people, they're wearing Yeezys and stuff like that the cool kids are wearing, and because they're in these places, I will throw them a free shirt or whatever. It's like, you're outside, you'll bring the traction back to me eventually. Otherwise, you're just getting a bunch of free clothes, which I guess for you that's cool too. But I'm more so, I would be more so looking to have brand ambassadors who are involved with local events that actually people respect for their fashion eye, more so than giving Kurt Franklin my shirt and prayers that he wears it and something happens. Just because I know that at this point, it's like hitting the lottery, the chances of you actually winning off of that now.
This question's for like the people also watching on the stream. You mentioned like when you go from your side hustle and turn it to an actual legit business. Can you explain like the process of going through the LLC, cost, how much it costs to turn yourself into an LLC, and like the time it takes to be legitimized?
Okay.
What's that process like?
So, Okay. So as far as the first thing before you get an LLC, you need to look up to see if because an LLC only covers you in your city for the most part. Make sure that there's no one else doing business as the name that you want to do as your LLC. Like if you want to be Todd Hutchinson Lawn Care and you think that's an original name and you go try to get it as an LLC and you get something back, it's like, hey, sorry, you can't be that. There's already a Todd Hutchinson Lawn Care. That process of getting your LLC, it's like a 2 to 4 week process before they tell you everything is approved, and it's $100, or it may have went up. I think it may be $150 now. When I did it, it was $100 back in the Stone Age. But look up your name first. You will save yourself a headache. And then you go downtown, or now you can file online because COVID happened and everything is online now. So then you go online, you fill out the paperwork that's necessary. You got to get it notarized. After you get it notarized, then you send it to the state. The state takes their 2 to 4 weeks to go through whatever process they need to go to approve your LLC.
There's a charge though.
Yeah, the 150. 100 or 150. You'll have to look it up. I didn't come with the numbers. It's 100 or 150. I know I paid $100, but that was back in 2011 or 2012.
And you don't have to renew it or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
And then the other thing, if you were selling any type of product, I would suggest getting a transit vendor's license. That's about $50. You need that because legally you cannot sell at certain venues and events without having some type of license that says that you can sell this product.
So do you learn all these things that you need as you go?
I learned all these things because my mama did it first, honestly. So my mom had a business with making her custom shirts and glasses starting in I got my LLC in 2015. My mom got hers in about 2008, 2009. So when it was time for me to get mine, I asked my mom, hey, what all do I need to be legit? And she told me everything. now outside of her telling me everything, I do a lot of my research on YouTube University as well. Yes, I mean, it's college for free. Anybody else? You got something, Jordan? Or are you scratching your head? Oh, you scratch. I thought you had a question for Daddy. No, but no, that wraps up everything that I had here. I don't have anything else.
I do have one more question.
You do got one more question.
My last one. What is your size range on your clothes?
Huh?
What are the size ranges on your clothes?
So the free t-shirts today, for those of you that are here, I printed size small through extra large in the free t-shirts. Sorry, Todd.
So you don't do any children's prints?
No.
Children's sizes?
Not in my brand, no, because my brand is a adult streetwear brand. Just like I get questioned about children's line and a woman's line. I'll possibly entertain a women's line. Children, no. One, based on the price point that I sell my product at, it wouldn't make sense to share a $40 t-shirt for TJ that's gonna grow out next week. And I'm not gonna drop the prices just so I can get the kid dollar. It's not worth it. That's not my target audience. Women, however, the first 2 years, I had always used men models. One day I decided to use a woman model and I started getting the attention of women to the brand. And that's when I realized there are actually women involved with streetwear culture. Streetwear is just a subdivision of fashion. It's just more people who dress casually is one way to look at it, but anything can be streetwear. But I found out there are a lot of women involved with streetwear, and it was a market that I did not tap into because I literally was only making it for selfish reasons of trying to wear something that I made for myself that I could say I did to wear with my shoes. But I will make more women cut product, not so much thinking about kids. Not for my brand at least. Yes, sir.
Would you ever think about getting into the denim?
No. Too costly at this point. At one point I did think about doing denim because I have a couple of people that are on my team that are like loyal to the brand at this point. They won't wear anything other than my brand if they can keep it that way. And they've mentioned like, bro, if you start making denim, you would make my life easier because I don't want to go buy your t-shirt then go into Levi or going to the mall and buy jeans and then wear your stuff. I would rather be arrogant from head to toe. But the cost of good quality denim is not like buying a t-shirt. Like I could go buy a blank t-shirt starting at $2 and print on it. Start to get decent denim, because I wouldn't go like a Levi. I would go like a Chinese raw denim or a Japanese raw denim, which raw denim Japanese is like, it's expensive. It's the best way. So if you were to go inside the mall and buy a pair of Levi's, you're gonna spend about $65. Japanese raw denim, for even a non-name brand for Japanese raw denim, you're gonna spend $175 minimum. And I would rather have that type of quality. And because I don't have the type of money to mass produce that type of quality, I'm not gonna do that just yet.
So it's better than Levi's denim?
Japanese raw denim, yes, it's very high quality. Very, like the way that they dye it, the way that they cut it, everything that they do with it is way better than Levi's.
This was very interesting.
Was it?
Yes, it was. You did all that. So we did.
Well, that's good to hear.
So not even denim jackets?
He is trying.
Eventually, he might make you one. He might make one.
Now, if I ever get it a denim, I want to do it the right way. When I started with the shirts, I went about it the inexpensive way. I went and got Gildan t-shirts, which that is entry level t-shirt. You can get Gildans for, at the time, it was like $1.20 for a blank Gildan, and I could sell it for $20. Those are Gildans, and I bought Gildans because I'm giving them away for free. What I use right now for my brand are Bella t-shirts. Those are at $5 a blank. And I'm eventually gonna move up to moving to As Color or Original Favorite because that is Egyptian cotton and those are $12 a blank t-shirt. So when I move to that, I have to put my prices up. And I mean, at this point, I can do it. It's worth it to me because it stands on my name that I'm using high quality products. But I'm not getting into denim just yet until I can say I can stamp my name on it and stand by it.
It's understandable.
Yep, but
I was trying to think of the name of the t-shirts I've been going when I go to those Arab stores. They got the little packages. I think it's J.
those are knockoff brands that only mass produce for the corner stores. Yeah.
They got that tight neck.
Yeah, but if there's no more questions, feel free to a free t-shirt.
Thank you so much for watching this message. If it has impacted you in any way, I'm asking you to do a few things. Number one is the most important. If you desire to accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, reach out to us directly by visiting our website at www.lwc614.org and click on the Connect tab and then choose either Become a Member or a Prayer Request. Number two, join Living Word Church every Sunday at 10 a.m. live in our sanctuary or live on the stream. Be sure to subscribe to receive notifications when we're on. Number three, share this message with a friend or family member to help us reach the world and transform lives by inspiring people to live better every day. Number four, consider partnering with us financially. Pray and ask God about the seed He'd like you to sow in this ministry. Feel free to use the donate button on our website. We love you. We look forward to staying connected with you. And this week, continue to love God, live the Word, and love people. See you next week.